That way I put my finger up and we know when to cut the video.
Oh, okay. Are we starting?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay.
How's it going?
It's great. How about you?
I'm good. Did you meditate today?
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're a hippie.
I'm a hippie now, I guess. No.
So you now meditate twice daily pretty religiously.
Yeah. I had no idea how much it would affect me, like by starting. And now that I've seen how much it helps me, I'm like, I'm not stopping this anymore.
That's really cool. What got you started meditating?
So I went through like a period of life where I felt like I was just a very full cup of water, and I was walking around always trying to not spill over. And if somebody bumped me, I'd spill over and tears would come out, or I'd feel overwhelmed, or I just, like I'd get to 2:00 in the day and I'm like, I can't do any more today. I can't answer any more questions. I just would just very overwhelmed.
Yeah, maybe like a decision fatigue.
Oh yeah, 100% just decision fatigue, but then also just weird emotions too, because when you're living a life like that, you're like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
I feel like all the things I'm doing are good, but I am a mess and I don't feel like I can keep up on everything. And so what needs to change? Like, I don't feel like anything in our life needed to change, but I was way too overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, you're a pretty high acuity woman. You do a lot. What all do you do?
So we run the Rock Gym and Teton CrossFit and the Yoga Loft. And, that's, trying to keep all those going. But then we also do LaBelle Lake, which is a wedding venue. I'm the director there, and we've got like manager and staff underneath. And then I also do wedding videography. And then we do the Ice Palace, and my position there is CEO. So that's a big thing. We're very focused on growth with that. And then we own a fourplex. We've got renters in there that occasionally need some things. And we have 3 boys.
Sounds like your husband needs to help you out more.
Shut up. No, I'm saying we.
No,
we have all these. But, as a mom too, like I put a lot on myself with these kids. We've got to raise these kids really well. And two, doing all of these things, it's not because I have to. Like wedding videography, I could stop doing that at any time, but I love it. It's so fun. It's good for me. It's, my creative outlet. And same with LaBelle Lake and the Ice Palace. Like it lights me up. It gets me excited. And our businesses, the Rock Gym and CrossFit, like all of these, I'm like, I love all of these. And that's kind of where the problem is. Like, I love everything that we do. I don't want to let go of anything, but what's wrong with me that I can't handle all of this? Anyway.
So with all that stuff, it sounds like you need a bigger cup.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good way of saying it. So I have a pretty awesome husband who's like, hey,
he's decent.
Hey, here's this book that I found. I don't know how you find all these awesome books.
They just come to me.
Yeah. No. It's because I'm praying that I need something and it comes to you and you're like, oh, hey, here you go.
That's how my prayers are answered.
Okay.
And I give things to you.
And how are your prayers answered?
I don't know. I'm figuring that out right now.
How have I told you that they're answered?
Through you. That's right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, Tyler gave me or told me to listen to this book on Audible that he bought called Stress Less, Accomplish More. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. Like stress less, accomplish more. That sounds great.
Sounds perfect.
So you get into it, you start reading it and you're like, oh, this is a book about meditation. It's kind of disguised in there.
Which she purposely did, correct?
Yeah, she did it on purpose because a lot of people would hear meditation and they're like, oh, that's too woo-woo for me. That's too out there. Or I've tried that in the past and it's just not for me. I can't stop my thoughts. I can't, all these things that would come with it. And so she starts the book with explaining all the benefits of like why this is good for you. And I was listening to it and I'm like, okay, I want to start. Like, how do I do it? How do I do it? And it doesn't tell you exactly how to do it until like more than halfway through the book.
You need buy-in.
Yeah, which actually is really good. Like I can see the wisdom in that now. But like I just started before I knew what to do. And it was more like counting breaths. I was just like, 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out. And I would just do that for like 10 minutes. Because I didn't really know what else to do. I'm like, I have to do something. But then getting into it, there's 3 portions of the meditation.
Really quick.
Yeah.
3 breaths or 3 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Where did you come up with that? Because that's actually called like a sympathetic or an autonomic sigh. You know, like when we're stressed, we're like, and it's that long breath out. It just helps lower heart rate. It actually lowers your blood pressure a little bit.
That's cool.
So-
I think she might have said that in the book, or maybe you told me, or is it called like the 2 times breath or something where you're doubling?
Yeah, like double exhale. Or
Yeah,
like
yeah. So you could do it in for 2 seconds, out for 4.
Yeah.
If you good at that, and do 3 seconds in, out for 6. And just breathing has huge benefits.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably helping before I really knew anything else to add to it. But there's a couple things you can add to the meditation that are extremely powerful. And that's when you start to see like real changes in your life. It speeds things up. If you have goals, it fast tracks all of your goals because you're saying them twice a day as if they've already happened.
So you're kind of pushing that into your subconscious and living as if.
Yes, yeah. So the first part of the meditation, it's just like mindfulness. You're just kind of getting in the right mindset to meditate. So you're thinking about all of your senses. You're like, your eyes are closed, and I'm seeing see what you're seeing, smell what you're smelling, taste what you're tasting, feel what you're feeling, and hear what you're hearing. And it's kind of cool to like, okay, hear what I'm hearing. I hear wind, I hear cars, whatever. It just gets you like really in the moment. And then
kids yelling, "Mom!"
Yeah, which actually, like, that's part of the meditation is she talks about just embracing all the sounds around you.
Yeah.
Don't try to put on certain music or rely on, it has to be perfectly quiet. You're just embracing everything around you. And it feels really nice to do that.
Yeah, life's not quiet.
No, it's not. And kids make noise, and you don't want to, every time you hear a noise, like, oh, it's interrupting me. Like there's a negative.
Shut up.
Yeah. Like, no, it's you just embrace all the noise around you. So I really liked that about it as well. But then after thinking about all of your senses one at a time, you're trying to combine all of them at the same time. And then, so I usually do it as I'm breathing in and I'm thinking sight, smell, taste, hearing, feeling, and I'm trying to think about it all at the same time. And sometimes it's like a total failure. I'm like, well, which doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if you feel like you succeeded or failed. But occasionally I'll get this like kind of cool feeling of like, oh, I just like, I don't know, it's like just this little feeling that goes through you that just kind of feels like you're out of your head.
A taste of enlightenment.
Maybe. But then you move into the meditation where you're breathing and saying a mantra. In the book, she says just to use the word one because it's an easy word that doesn't mean anything good, doesn't mean anything bad. Like, there's one of you, one. It's just anyway. And then I bought a course after that because this is amazing. And then she gives you like there's different mantras, like a Sanskrit word you can use that. So you do that for I don't know, like 10, 12, 15 minutes. And then you move into manifesting, which at first was the hardest part for me because I didn't know what to say. It wasn't as exciting as she said it was. Like, this is exciting. You're saying all these goals as if they've already happened. Like, you should feel amazing or,
Yeah.
And I'm like, it made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying all these big things, but that means I'm going to have to like do something to make these happen. And that's scary to me or, limiting fears of like, maybe I don't deserve this or I don't need that or, all these things that kind of start to come up. But yeah. So, but noticing that you're feeling that way and then being like, oh, it's so cool to realize how you're feeling. So you can, if you don't like that, then you can move past it. And anyway, so now that's my favorite part. It's like, it's so fun to say all these big goals. And sometimes new things will pop in my mind, that I should add to what I'm manifesting. Like today I was thinking, about you and I, and that it'd be really cool to have like a coaching business where we have very complementary traits with business. the things that I'm not good at, you exceed at. And some of the things that you're not great at, I actually am pretty good at. And so we would be a really good couple for a coaching business.
Yeah. People can sign up right now for $16,000.
But that popped in my head. I was like, okay,
really
so
cool.
we own this very successful coaching business and it's doing really well. And, so you say all these things as if they've happened.
Yeah.
We've always had a goal to own apartments. And so I put a number on it. Like we own this many apartments. And so it gets your mind thinking as you drive past some land or you see other apartments. You're like, oh, I'd like ours to look like that someday.
Yeah.
Or this land would be a really good spot for it. And it's just like getting your mind going because in your head, it's already happened.
Yeah.
So now there's no resistance to reaching that goal. I think the resistance that we have in our life is part of what stops us from reaching our goals, but then also just not even saying our goals.
Yeah. Well, isn't that resistance mostly built in our heads? Mm-hmm. I mean, what's out there stopping somebody from achieving? It's usually us.
It is. It's us. It's ourselves, which is so interesting because I don't think most people think of that. They think, well, it's because I was born into this situation or I have this and this and this. But no, all of that can be overcome. It's just realizing that you can do that. And that's a whole process, which is kind of cool. It's cool to learn that over time too. And I've noticed with like coaching people in CrossFit, it's something that you started knowing nothing. And every single thing you learned, you dove fully into and you researched everything there is to know about it. And the things that you struggle with, you research even more about. And so then when someone wants coached, you're the best coach out there because you've been where they're at and you've started where they're at. And, so for people that things come a little bit easier, they're not great coaches because they don't know how to teach that because it came easy for them,
Yeah.
So
How detailed are you getting in your manifestation? And really too, like the word manifestation, it sounds a little weird, but it's okay because I'm getting used to it. But people could think of manifestation in many forms. I mean, it's prayer too.
Yeah.
It's because we think of prayer so well, and maybe it's just how we were raised, but we think of prayer so almost linear. It's like, hey, well, I need to kneel down and I need to address whatever we believe in. So, maybe it's Heavenly Father, maybe it's the universe, maybe it's, whatever. And then we need to have gratitude, which I think is a very important part of it. And then we ask and, it's very linear.
Yeah.
But prayer is extremely individualized. I'm reading a book called How to Talk with God. Did you see that on our bed last night?
That's cool.
Okay, I don't know where it's at then. I was sitting in a tree stand yesterday, and I had a little bit of cell service, so I downloaded it onto Kindle. So I was reading through that, and it's just so individualized. Mm-hmm. It's like some people pray out loud, some people fold their arms, some people pray while listening to music, some people kneel on a special rug.
And some people write it down too. Yeah. Yeah, my prayers have definitely shifted slightly in a way of sometimes I'll say what I'm grateful for, even if it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for...
Which is what Jesus taught.
Okay.
It's in the Bible. It's just, it's skipped over.
Yeah.
But we should pray as if it's already happened. That's faith.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. But it feels right when you're doing that, but it's uncomfortable at first because you're like, oh wait, but I don't have this yet, So as far as how detailed I'm getting into manifesting, right now I'm saying a lot of I ams, like I am confident, I am wise, I am, all these things. Interestingly, lately, okay, so I'll backtrack a little bit. So Kelsey, one of our CrossFit coaches, invited me to go with her to
a sound bath.
A sound bath, which I didn't even know what that was, and I still it's like it was a yoga studio in Rigby that was doing it, and you pretty much just like lay on a yoga mat with a pillow and blanket, and they do a guided meditation, but then have these like sound bowls that they like, yeah, like these really like really loud vibrations that you can like feel in your body. And anyway, I guess it's really good for your body. Your body's mostly water, and vibrations can do different things to water, and it can start to heal your body in different ways. And I still don't know a lot about it. It's just really interesting to me. But so then I like started researching the benefits of sound, and I'm like, man, like sound has a lot of healing properties. Like this is really cool. And music and your voice can actually have a lot of healing properties to it just by like singing or whatever. And then I don't know, lately I'm like, man, I really would like I'd like to learn how to sing, because it's always been a very like terrifying thing to me and very uncomfortable. And I was thinking about it earlier today while I was meditating.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to like sing all the time, and I would like, we lived by the Snake River growing up, and I'd go on walks by myself, and I would like sing about, I was like really little, but I would sing about the things that I liked or the things that I saw, and I just like sing really loud.
So that's where Heber gets it.
But then like, I remember one time in primary, like a little primary kid at church, I was asked if I could give a talk, and they're like, or you can sing a song too, like, you know. And I was like, oh sweet, like I don't have to prepare a talk, I can just sing a song that I already know, like easy, done, I'll do that. So I stood up there to sing a song, and I was like, this is terrifying. Like no words came out. It was so embarrassing. The music was, someone was playing the piano, and I just stood there and I was like kind of whispering the music a little bit, and it like terrified me. And while I was meditating this morning, it just kind of hit me like that might have been when I just like kind of stopped singing. Like,
Did you say something about a little boy? Or did you say you as a little girl?
little girl.
Oh, for some reason I was not that you were a little boy. For some reason I was waiting to hear what this little boy had said to you. I don't know why I heard that.
Oh, weird.
Some little butthole didn't say anything to you, did he?
No.
Okay.
No, I just like, I felt so uncomfortable and like just, yeah, completely terrified. And then I think singing to me is a very, very terrifying thing, like to ever do that in public or even in front of you. I don't know why. It's like,
I don't know why either, because you're great.
well, but yeah, I don't know. So it's just like, I want to overcome things that make me scared. And like 6 months ago, if you were to ask me to add anything else to my plate, I would have just spilled over. I would have like, I can't do anything else. But right now, I feel like my cup got bigger. I'm like a sponge. I want to learn everything. We bought a meditation course because I was like, this is helping me so much. And then I just got this other course called Moving into Mastery, and it talks about different areas of life, like your relationships, money, your time, your brain, and bringing in like world-renowned teachers in those areas, and teaching you how to master different parts of your life, which is, I don't know, it's just interesting to me now. But I guess with meditation, when I first started, it was probably about 2 weeks of doing it consistently twice a day, every day, before I really started seeing like changes and benefits in life. And first it was my capacity increased, and it was like, wow, this is amazing. I can do more. I can, my brain's not so tired. And then I went through a weird part, which I guess can happen when you start meditating, is you've given your mind like the chance to rest. And so anything that your body's holding on to, any like past emotions or something that your body's just hanging on to, it will let it out. And so there was a couple days where I just like cried a lot and felt really weird. And I don't know, just, yeah, it was just really emotional. And I guess that was just, I researched it afterwards. I'm like, what is this? And I guess it's just your body releasing past emotions or past things that you've been holding on to. So it's a good way to release any trauma you've had, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, there's a really good book called The Body Keeps the Score. And really anything that's happened to us in the past is stored in the body somehow, whether that's in your shoulders or your spine or I don't know, your liver.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But really, really good book.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a whole world that I've never dove into before. And it's
Well,
fascinating to me.
The skeptical conspiracy side of me goes, well, it's because they don't want you to know.
Well, in our culture, like just this Western, I don't know, it's a pretty fairly new,
To our culture, right?
well, like coming here and establishing a new town or a new, like where we live, it was established in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And so people are kind of starting new with new everything. And so a lot of the older traditions or older healing modalities or different things, it's like that didn't come with us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm just saying ancient cultures, so Buddhism is a pretty old religion and they meditate and, different ways of prayer and different things, different societies. Honestly, like I think the Egyptians built the pyramids using vibrations. So when you go to the Great Pyramid and there's a couple spots you can just kind of put your head up to the pyramid, it's vibrating. Nobody knows why.
Interesting.
So however it was built or whatever it was constructed on or whatever has some natural energy there that's giving this certain vibration. And so, vibrations, they run deep.
Yeah. Well, the more I'm learning, the more I'm also learning we don't know anything. And maybe that's why it's so fascinating to me is because there's little snippets of truth that you can find along the way. And it's just like, wow, like there's so much out there. And I don't remember the last time that I've wanted to learn things so much. I just feel like I've been doing everything I am doing because I needed to do it. And I don't know.
Yeah.
So
It's really cool.
It's yeah. Yeah.
So if someone wanted to get started in this, what do they do?
I mean, honestly, that book was really great for me because I think that buy-in at the beginning, it's telling you, it's showing you all these different studies. It's telling you like why you should meditate. It's if you just start meditating, you probably won't continue to do it unless you really understand why you're doing it. And I guess you'd start to see the benefits in your life. Because there's a couple weeks throughout the summer that I just kind of stopped meditating because it got busy and whatever. I just do it once a day or every other day. And I noticed like it was kind of weird. Like my capacity started to shrink a little bit. And I'm like, okay, I can't afford to not meditate. Like some people will say, I don't have time for it or whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm a pretty busy person, but like you can make time for it because your capacity increases. Like you don't have time not to do it. So anyway, the book is called Stress Less, Accomplish More by Emily Fletcher. And I think that would be a great way to start.
There's also another really good book. It's called Hurry Up and Meditate. And it's funny because it's like, well, meditating is all about slowing down. So why would I want to hurry up? But his whole thing is you need to hurry up and do it because you're missing out.
Yeah.
Like you have to do it. And it's written by a guy who was a news anchor and he got his big shot to go on, I don't know, NBC or something like that. And he just got on camera and froze. And I think he might have turned to drugs. I'm not really sure. But then he found meditation and it completely changed his life. He's like, well, I can get on camera now and I can be me and I can this and that. And it's all because he was able to hurry up and meditate.
Yeah. Well, it's sometimes people think with meditating that you're supposed to sit there in silence and not think about anything. You have a mantra, but that's to like kind of bring you back from your thoughts. Your thoughts will come. And something that this lady teaches in the book and in the course is that as you're meditating and thoughts are coming and you realize like, oh, I was just thinking, and then you go back to the mantra, that's like stress is leaving the body. And so you're giving your mind a chance to release and then come back. And every time you do that, it's just releasing more stress. So just knowing that, I think it gives me a little bit of I can give myself some grace. Like, oh, I don't know how long I was just on this thinking tangent. But then as soon as you realize you're thinking, you just gently come back and you focus on your breath. And yeah, I don't know.
Which is analogous to life, correct?
Yes.
It's always trying to pull us in different directions, which is fine, but we do need to come back.
And every time we come back, we gain a little bit more strength, a little bit more confidence. It's just directing our path. Something that I feel super strongly about lately, which is maybe why I love the book by Annie Thorisdottir.
Yeah, I saw you posted that on your Instagram story.
So, okay, something I'll finish my thought, but is just the value of struggle.
It's a children's book, correct?
Yes. Okay, so there's a children's book written by Annie and Katrin.
Yeah.
And which are CrossFit Games athletes. And it's called What is the Way? Is that?
I don't remember, but it's on your story. I'll go look it up.
I think it's called What is the Way? And it's about this girl named Freya, and she is doing this race, and all these obstacles keep coming up. Like, there's all of a sudden this big, massive river on the trail that I'm supposed to run across. And all the people that are with her are like, oh, we can't do that. Like, it's too great a risk. Like, we can't take that risk. And she's thinking, like, should I give up? And then she's got some friends with her that they give these little quotes, like, that are really good. And she's thinking, like, yeah, I can do it. This is the way. And so she's able to start swimming through this river and realizing, like, oh no, I don't think I can do this. This is harder than I thought. What do I do? And then there's like a creative solution, like she made a bridge and, different things. But it's showing that struggle is how you learn. What's it called?
Yeah. What is the way?
What is the way? Okay, cool. But then at the end, after she accomplished this race and everyone's like, you're a hero, you've done such a good job and you've made it, sort of thing. And she started to like get kind of sad, like, well, I just accomplished it. Like, what now? And so like she goes back to her little animal friends in the book and they give her some motivational quotes or whatever that apply to her situation. And then there's this whole paragraph that talks about, like, oh, the way is the struggle. The struggle is the way. That's the the way.
Yeah.
And it ends with her starting another more difficult race or something to give herself more struggles and more things to overcome. It's overcoming the struggle.
Yeah.
Not just the struggle, it's overcoming the struggle. So anytime that you have a struggle in your life, there's wisdom in it, and it's not there to push you down and to destroy you and hurt you. It's there to give you strength and turn you into who you need to become. And it just resonates so deeply with me because I've seen that in my life that, going through struggles, it's just leading you to find things that will help you become more of your true self. And it'll also make it so you can move more effortlessly and with more faith. Something that I want to do is to be able to do hard things with a little bit less effort because I'm on that true path of where you need to be. And I have seen that. I can do really hard things almost effortlessly. I get in this little zone of wow, this feels really good. And, you're just doing it. And then you sit back and you're like, wow, I just did all that stuff and it wasn't that hard. But I think because you're more on that path of where you should be. But
yeah,
it's also hard.
Yeah. Which hard is fine. In the moment, it feels like the end of the world.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of the parable of the golf ball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. First golf balls were just perfectly smooth and round, and when they hit them, they would slice or hook, and they'd go very unpredictable places. But the more that they hit that ball and the more they dented the ball, the straighter it would fly. So that's why golf balls have divots in them now.
Yeah.
Because you need divots to fly straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really love that. Have you seen any of that in your life?
Yeah, I'm just working on seeing progress. because I will do things and I'll go through hard times or whatever that is, probably mostly mental, just getting through it in my own mind. So I'm just trying to get better at the small things, the small wins, just figuring all of that out. So I have historically not been great at that, because I'll do something and it's probably great. Like, there are some great things that I've done, but I'm like, well, whatever. We just did them. It's all good. Anyone else can do it. And maybe that's it. I believe that people can do anything they want in life. They can achieve nearly anything. I mean, we tell our kids you can be anything you want to be except for president of the United States, because that's already set in stone. They know essentially upon birth. No. But really, I believe that we can. So when I do something that maybe is out of the ordinary, I'm like, whatever, it's fine. I did it. Anyone else can do it too. So,
Yeah.
but that's me. And, it's because I'm so humble. No, I'm just kidding.
Well-
No, not at all. I really am like joking in that regard, because there are certain things that I am definitely not humble about.
But by what you've done, though, I think a lot of the value in it is showing people that it can be done, and that you don't have to be perfect, or you can have flaws and still accomplish big and great things. It's the greatness of it might not be what you accomplished, but what you're showing or giving to other people
Yeah.
by accomplishing that.
Yeah. Well, and I love that, and everything you said about achievement and struggle. And it also makes me think of lottery winners. So, if the goal is to become a millionaire, okay, it depends on what you want to do with those several $1,000,000. But people that win the lottery, like, hey, I have $20 million now. And within a few years, that 20 million is gone, because they didn't become a multimillionaire. They were given millions.
It takes a special person to be able to have an incredible amount of wealth and to just do great things with it. It's not, I don't think it's all it's cracked up to be,
Oh, yeah. I mean, at our peak net worth was the most unhappy that I've ever been,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
because we had accomplished kind of what we'd set out to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then we got there and it was like, oh, well, what is this? This sucks. Like, but I don't want to reach for something further right now. Like, that seems daunting to do all of this over again. So then it's like, well, oh crap, I need to get inside my own head. I need to learn myself.
Yeah. And we've learned so much about ourselves since that point. What was that, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of right middle of COVID, right?
Wow. Yeah, a little after that. Yeah, so almost 3. Weird.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
So we have, that's kind of cool. Like, I think it showed us where we can become, but we weren't ready for that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, even our whole marriage, you've been really good at manifesting. Like, you would write things down, these big goals, and it would almost make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like, he's writing all these big goals. Like, does that mean we have to figure out how to make it happen? Like, I'm a very, like, I got to do this, and this to reach this. And Tyler's a lot better about, like, this is what I want. Skip all the things I have to do to get there. And
Not better, just different. I mean, it's very complimentary. That's the thing is,
Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to some Think and Grow Rich yesterday by Napoleon Hill. He's just like, every great achievement a man has ever done, it's usually because of a woman. I'm like, yeah, 100%.
But it's cool because with that, you've helped me to grow into who I need to become. And even if I haven't liked it at the time, like, maybe you're struggling with something, so then it causes me some pain or me to feel a certain way. And I didn't like it at the time and it was crappy. But now looking back, I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful for that. Like, because of this, I was able to find this and it led me to this. And, it's, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Well, I can easily give pain. I mean, it's,
No, you actually can't. It's hard for you to.
yeah, I don't like to see you.
Yeah. No, for anybody, you try to avoid uncomfortable situations at all costs.
Yeah, which is a downfall, because I mean, maybe we shouldn't say downfall. That is something I can work on,
something
because
you
it
can
is
work on.
good to have difficult conversations. It is good to have struggle. It is good to
Yeah.
give positive and negative feedback and receive positive and negative feedback. I don't like when people tell me that I've done a good job, and I don't like when people tell me that I've done a bad job.
Yeah, if
I don't want
someone-
feedback.
If someone
Although
tells
I know
Tyler
it's important.
he's done a bad job, it's like,
It's the end of the world.
yeah, but it's not even. It's almost like you can't accept it either. I
Yeah,
guess
I just
accepting-
can't. I am working on receiving feedback, because really it is anything. Like if someone says, "Hey, good job. Hey, happy birthday. Hey, you don't run your business very well." It doesn't matter what it is. It's like, "Oh man, it's not a good job. I didn't do a good job." Well, hey, I didn't do a bad job. What are you talking about?
But I think the first step to like overcoming that is just noticing.
Yeah, being aware.
I mean, I've never heard you say that before.
Well, you've been really good the last year of helping me to just be like, "Hey, this is happening. Good." Oh, speaking of, we need to play this for people. Did you get that text yesterday? I sent it out to all the coaches because it's so good.
Oh,
It's Jocko, which it's Jocko, so obviously it's going to be great. Let's see here. It's called Good.
Oh, I have watched that before.
Here we go. Oh, it must be connected to a Bluetooth. Unbluetooth. Then I'm going to get a bunch of notifications that say, "You need to be connected to Bluetooth."
One of my direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me, he would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, "Boss, we got this and that and the other thing." And I'd look at him and I'd say, "Good." And finally one day he was
The music.
telling me about some issue that he was having, some problem. And he said, "I already know what you're going to say." I said, "Well, what am I going to say?" He said, "You're going to say good." He said, "That's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say good." And I said, "Well, yeah. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get funded. Didn't get the job you wanted. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Got tapped out? Good. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution." That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out. Don't get startled. Don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
That's so good.
It's so
Good.
good.
Okay, I had a few thoughts
Yeah.
while he
Oh, I
was
want to hear them.
talking. Well, one, you've seen if he's telling you like, well, don't get frustrated, don't get down on yourself, or don't get, someone's like, well, but like my life is so hard, or this person died, or this, like really bad things. One of the things that I was learning about is, and I think neuroscience is backing it, but it takes 90 seconds for an emotion to fully go through your body. Like yes, feel frustrated, but give it 90 seconds or 5 minutes or whatever. Feel frustrated for a short amount of time and then choose to let it go. A lot of times we tell ourselves a story of our lives, like, well, but you have this whole narrative of everything that's ever happened to you. And and usually this is like a very victim mentality, but this narrative, you've told yourself this story and you're thinking about this story. And so it feels way too overwhelming to move on from that. But if you can, just focus on one thing at a time, or try to let go of putting all of your problems together and just think about letting the emotion run through your body and then move on from it, I think that's where you can get to the point where you can achieve that, to be like, good. Like, this bad thing's happening. Let myself feel it. But then where's the wisdom in this? What can I learn from this situation that I'm being forced to learn? Because that's what struggle is. It's forcing you to learn and to grow.
Yeah. Or to die. I mean, that's the thing, is we can either roll over, but we're so resilient.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of a woman having a baby. That's insane.
And the baby.
And yeah. But do women get through it? Yes. I mean, we get through most things, and we lie to ourselves all the time. So, if we're going, oh, my life sucks and everything's so hard, and, I didn't get that promotion, or my business failed, or, whatever. Oh, my life. Well, you're kind of lying to yourself, because, okay, you've had some difficulties. Doesn't mean your life sucks. So now lie to yourself on the other direction. Like, if we're going to lie, we might as well lie positively. So, man, I'm awesome. That business failed for a reason. Like, I must have done something wrong. This is so great. I learned from it.
Yeah.
Most people, and this is shifting a little bit in the tech world, but most people, historically speaking, when we're talking high achievers, don't achieve until they're well in their 40s and 50s. Why? Because they learned.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What were your other thoughts? We can listen to it again.
No, I think that's mostly it. But even while you were talking, like, I think it's so easy for people to hear that, like, yeah, this bad thing, just say good, whatever. But I think I just want to reemphasize that, like, feel the feelings, but don't hold on to them. You can either feel it and let it go, or you can, like, ruminate. Is that the word? Ruminate?
Yeah.
Ruminate?
Yeah, ruminate.
Ruminate in those feelings, and you can hold on to them and keep telling yourself that story about yourself, and you'll stay there. But noticing that that's what's happening, and noticing that you don't have to feel frustrated for longer than 90 seconds.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel all those things for very long, but you should feel them. You should feel angry. You should feel frustrated. You should feel happy. You should feel sad. Let yourself cry. Like, feel your feelings and then let them go. A lot of times when feelings are holding on, like you feel like you're a really angry person, or you feel like you're really sad, and you're staying like that for days, it's because you haven't actually let yourself completely feel that. It's the resistance to feeling it that you're feeling that's making you hold on to it. So just, like, give yourself permission, even like the buffest guys or whatever, give yourself permission to just feel it. And don't listen to your ego that's telling you, like, oh, you're tougher than this, or you shouldn't be acting like this, or whatever. Like, if you can let that go and just really feel it, then that's when the healing really starts to happen. That's when you can start seeing those physical, emotional, and spiritual changes in your body that, like, you're letting those things go. But that's, I think, the how. A lot of times I think in our relationship, we've been learning things, but we're like, but like, how? How do you really do that? And I think that's the key, is those, like, allowing yourself to truly, truly feel.
Yeah. No, I think you are spot on. And I think that's also what pushes people to substance abuse. So drugs and alcohol. It's like, well, hey, I'm chasing happiness, so cocaine and amphetamines, and, well, I want to get over sadness, so alcohol and depressants. There's a good series, there's a book, House of Pain, about the Sackler family. They're the ones who invented OxyContin, and they're the ones who marketed morphine. So, I mean, they really understand opiates. And I think it's Richard Sackler said people are either chasing happiness or running away from pain. And that's a circle throughout all of life. Now, although this guy, like, pushed morphine and pushed opiates on people, and honestly, because of the decisions that they made and some corruption, it killed a lot of people. But he's 100% correct in we're either chasing happiness or running away from pain. That is the life circle.
So what if you don't want to be chasing happiness or running away from pain? What do you do? Is there another option?
Well, I mean, I think what you're talking about with meditation and making your glass more full, or at least taking some water out of your glass, is a way to feel. So it's, if something bad happens and that cup fills up with water, we're like, that's okay because my cup is really big. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, you don't want your cup to be empty either, because an empty cup means I might not spill any water. I'm not growing at all.
Yeah, yeah. And with the cup filling up to every bad thing that happens, and you get a little bit more water, a little bit more. And yes, it's a big cup, but it's still going to keep filling up.
Yeah.
The way to drain it is through meditation, is through thinking your thoughts, letting them go, and come back to that mantra. You put a little drain in the cup, and it's slowly going to go back down. And then as your problems and hard things are happening, it'll fill up. And I'll slowly start to drain back down.
Yeah.
But in life, we don't usually give ourselves that outlet to give ourselves the needed rest for our minds. Anyway, so yeah, the cup fills up.
Yeah, yeah. But I also don't want to be a Buddhist monk that's just sitting on the edge of a cliff, which is also impressive, by the way. These people wear like little tiny silk robes, and they're sitting in like 0-degree weather, and they can regulate their body temperature due to their meditation. It's insane stuff. Our mind is so powerful. But they're also not going to go build a multi-million-dollar company that can serve thousands and thousands of customers, hundreds of thousands, millions of customers, and support the families that work for that company.
It's just 15 minutes twice a day.
15 minutes twice a day.
Yep, that's all.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it for hours and hours, or even like dive into it. You don't even have to dive into it like I am. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I need to learn more. But yeah, just 15 minutes twice a day. And that will keep it. That'll increase your capacity. It'll help you to sleep better. It'll help you to not feel like you need.
Does it help sleep better?
It does, Tyler.
Okay.
You haven't done it twice a day for 15 minutes for at least 2 weeks, have you?
No.
Okay.
But I have been doing breath work. So in the morning for 16 minutes, I box breathe. So
yeah, no, that's cool.
And then usually once throughout the day, it's 6 minutes of relaxing box breathing. And then before bed, it's also breath work.
Have you tried incorporating manifesting into it yet?
Yeah, a little bit afterwards. So at night, it's prayer. In the morning, I write in that 369 journal. So write down.
That's cool. I'm not judging you, by the way.
No, I know.
You're not on the spot. You're good. I promise I'm trying.
Yeah, for me, I guess having something to think about is a good thing, but you're focusing on the thinking. So I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but in thinking of the breath, then you're also giving yourself it's a parasympathetic, I guess you could say, stimulant, which makes no sense. That's an oxymoron. Let's say it's a sympathetic depressant. You're kind of shutting off the sympathetic and you're turning on the autonomic. And that's through that breathing. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm not just meditating. I'm physiologically helping all this happen.
Yeah. It's interesting with the 15 minutes twice a day. She says to not do it too close to bedtime because a 15-minute meditation is equivalent to like a 2-hour nap. Like it's supposed to help rejuvenate you and feel more energized. And for the most part, after meditating, I actually do feel like a little bit more rejuvenated. And if I do it closer to bedtime, I do notice I have a harder time going to sleep.
Interesting.
So I try to do it like in the early afternoon.
Yeah.
But that might be a small a difference between what you're doing and then like this technique.
Yeah.
So just.
Okay, so maybe once a day with the Ziva method, Emily Fletcher's method, and then one way. I don't want to be told what to do.
I know you don't. It's I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so something that I've thought about too is this is a tool in the toolbox. Mm-hmm. And although we want our cup to be bigger, we also want to have a very large toolbox with many tools.
This isn't the only way. Yeah. I know that.
No.
Sure.
But this is a way that you've found personally that has worked very well. And that's a very important That's a very important thing. Like a personal story, personal story is extremely powerful. So people should meditate and at least try it. Give it a run. Yesterday I was talking with my brother who's lost about 135 pounds. And it comes down to consistency and mindset. And really faith that whatever you're doing is working in whatever way you want it to be working. So, you know, if he's being consistent with intermittent fasting and he's gotten his mind into a place where, yeah, like even if I step on the scale and I'm not down in a week, I'm still eating healthy. I'm drinking water. Like my blood pressure's probably better. My pulse is probably a better resting heart rate, you know, all of that. So the consistency is the key.
Yeah.
So if you're going to try meditation, give it a good couple months. Don't just, I meditated for 3 days and I didn't feel any different. Because I've been there.
Yeah, it's the twice a day that's the key. Like once a day, you'll kind of maintain, but then twice a day, it's like your body's kind of like, oh, like it's given me the opportunity to release a lot of this stress and to start cleaning house a little bit more. So twice a day is the key. One other thing I was thinking about is some people don't want to heal.
Very true.
Like some people just, I don't know, they don't want that yet. And that's okay too, because sometimes we need to struggle for a little while, and that's okay. But like if you're hearing this and you're like, sounds really cool, but like I'm just not ready for that yet, or whatever. Like you said, give it a go, like try it, and yes, try it. And if it's not like as successful for you as it was for me, then like that's okay. Maybe you weren't quite ready for that, or it's similar things with business that I've seen looking back. Something we've been trying to incorporate into business is a method called EOS. It's been really great. But like,
which also Brandon turned us on to.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. But like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, somebody introduced us to EOS and was trying to help us implement it into our business. And I didn't realize at the time what it was.
Yeah.
Once we started implementing this, I texted him and I was like, hey, it just clicked. This is what you were trying to teach us. He was like, yes, I was trying to get you to do all these things. And I'm like, I guess we just weren't we weren't there yet. Like we just weren't quite ready for all of that. We just needed to struggle a little bit longer.
It's so funny. It happens so often coaching. So, or even just having the coach mindset. So your dad, for example, he's lived in a lot of physical pain. Mm-hmm. So a few years ago, I'm like, Jim, have you heard of the Wolverine protocol? No. Well, so there's a couple supplements that you can take, and there's some breathing techniques, and there's some different things you can do. And when you put all this together, they call it the Wolverine protocol because you heal. Like your tendons, your ligaments, your joints, your gut lining, everything heals. Okay, cool. Sounds great. So then like 6 months ago, he's like, Tyler, have you heard of the Wolverine method? Like, yeah, I have. I've heard it's really good. Well, I think I'm going to do it. Okay. I support you fully.
That's cool.
Here we go. Here's the Wolverine protocol. 2 weeks later, I'm feeling so good right now.
Isn't that interesting? I mean, even with, little things I see in people all the time. I guess we could continue to go back and forth with stories, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Like he just wasn't ready for it at that point. And maybe you as a younger coach, maybe you would have been frustrated, like, oh my gosh, if he would have just listened to me, he would have saved all that time. But now being a little bit older, more experienced, it's like, that's okay. Like they'll come around.
But so will I. Like, I don't even want to say that from a higher ground because I'm sure that he has suggested things to me that I'm like, whatever, Jim.
Yeah.
And then 2 or 3 years from now, I'm like, yeah, he was wise. He's older and wiser too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. There's a lot of peace that comes with that too, because you don't have to judge yourself for any situations.
That's what we do.
It is, but if you can realize that you don't have to do that there's wisdom in timing and there's wisdom in struggle. And so if you did go through a struggle, don't regret it. Don't be like, oh, I could have avoided it this and this way. It's like, no, what did you learn from that?
Yeah.
As business owners, people will ask us sometimes, like, if you could go back in time and change one thing, what would you do? And it's a funny question to me because nothing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything. We needed all the struggles. Like, yeah, you could go back and change this and this would save us money here or whatever. But no, like, we needed to go through all those struggles to become who we need to be.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, every time I buy a firearm, I'm like, I know I probably shouldn't spend this money, but I'm going to learn something from it.
Oh my gosh.
I needed that bear gun. I'm just messing. Well, thank you. I love talking to you. I mean, we get to do this all the time, but we don't get to push it out to 8,000 or 9,000 listeners. Now we do, so it'll be great. So, what are the two biggest lessons that you've learned through the last 6 months of meditating fairly regularly? I know it's been a ramp up over the last 6 months, but what are the two biggest lessons that you've learned?
I mean, I think throughout this I've shared them, but number one is just how valuable struggle is. And if we can see that value in the struggle, it'll help us. And then, I don't know, to do what feels good to you to do, and then do it consistently. Being intentional about what you're doing, and not being okay with being miserable. You know, if you're miserable and then you're just like, well, I guess this is just how life is, I'm not going to look for anything to actually to help me. Like, be open to suggestions that friends, like, you know, definitely gauge who's telling you things.
Very true.
You know, if you're getting advice from someone that you don't want to be like, don't listen to them. But if it's someone that you trust and that has gone through some stuff, if they give you some advice, like, really think about it and, you know, see if it's right for you. Be open to healing. You don't need to be miserable. People don't need to be in as much pain as they are. Pain's important, but you don't need to be in it for a really, really long time. You know, you can overcome it. You can be positive. I know that wasn't
No, I love that.
necessarily two things.
That's great. Well, they all play into each other.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Yesterday with Brandon, one of his two lessons was be present. Mm-hmm. Well, what's being present? Well, it's kind of meditating. You know, You're being present in the moment. It's mindfulness.
Yeah, that's mindfulness.
Yeah. Consistency, mindfulness. It all plays. How you do anything is how you do everything. 100% true principle. And they merge. So we talked weight loss yesterday. Today we're talking about making your cup bigger or lessening the amount of liquid in your cup. Well, true principles are true principles.
Yeah.
In everything.
And you can kind of feel too when it's true. Like, there's something that happens inside of you that just kind of like rings true a little bit. You're like, oh, that makes sense. Like, yeah, I don't know. And I think listening to that, there's a lot of wisdom in that.
I like it. I heard you're going to start a podcast.
I was thinking about it, or joining yours.
That's awesome.
We'll have to see.
I would love either one of those.
That's another thing that I never would have thought I ever would have even considered, because we do too many things, but we don't.
Yeah.
We do just the right amount. And so it's cool. Thanks for helping me grow.
Yeah, well, right back at you. I appreciate it. I just know that after I got home off my mission, God was like, wow, you need her. Because if you don't get her, you're going to screw your life up so bad.
No, you would have probably been just fine. But I think
I don't think so.
we need each other. I mean, we really help each other to grow, which is cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Which is really important to find in a relationship, and knowing that you can still be an individual and a couple.
Yes. Which is something that we've been learning too.
Yeah.
I mean, we got married pretty young. And so, I mean, you, at least lucky you had to go like on a mission and live by yourself for 2 years, or, you know, like, I feel like just until recently I feel like I've just been doing everything for other people and haven't ever really been like, what am I going to do for myself? You know? So it's nice.
Yeah. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
I want you to feel happy and fulfilled and proud of yourself and independent to a point. No, you can be as independent as you want, but like, I want you to learn yourself. I want you to be yourself. And I know that you want all those things back for me, and that's a pretty dang good relationship.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have that.
And not to like toot my horn here, but you're like, hey, this course is kind of expensive. I'm like, good. 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 If it's expensive, that probably means that it's packed full of value, and you get to chat with Emily Fletcher and Andrew Huberman, and you get to talk with Allison Mulcahy and all these great teachers. Good. But the same back. If I'm like, hey, I want to get this new certification, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, you're like, sweet. Sounds great. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, and
I
you're
appreciate
helping
it.
me with that mindset too.
It's all a bounce back. It's bouncing it back and forth, and people in a relationship should be very open to that. And I think we've always had a good relationship, but it has always grown throughout time. And so 10 years ago, you might be like, hey, Tyler, you shouldn't do this and you should do this. And I was like pushing back hard. Don't tell me what to do. Today you're like, hey, you should do this and that. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's try it.
That's cool.
So actually, I don't take feedback very well, except for from you.
But that's even recent. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
means you're growing.
Yeah.
And that it's not going to just be me. It'll be more people. That's cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for
Thank
today.
you. Yeah, that was
We
great.
should do this again soon.
Yes, we should.
All right. We'll see you.